So you have some peaceful breathing. Letting it fill up 360 degrees of your belly, ribs, and chest. In child's pose, our spine is lengthening and we're breathing. Again, that 360-degree filling breath. Feeling the stretch through feet, ankles, hips, spine, and arms. And you're well balanced as you're stretching gently and maybe just surrendering the weight of your chest, the weight of your hips, sense of letting go of tension in your exhaling breaths. Now let's slide out into a nice long body position, resting on our hips and elbows and belly. Sphinx pose. Forearm, elbow balance, shoulders broadening. There's an uplifted action through your heart and chest and your face in the moment. Because there's a lovely variation of Sphinx where you can let your chin and face kind of drip downward, still thoroughly pressing down through ground, through elbows and forearms. Breathing and softening any hard edges across the back of the shoulders, the tops of the shoulders. Right, and all of the poses that we practiced tonight are going to help us restore and replenish. Let those words guide your practice. So if your head is still dripping down, raise your face upward in Sphinx, and then we'll press back, push up and back to child's pose again, Balasana. Lengthening, breathing, and surrendering, right? Your hips and your heart and chest heavy. And peel yourself up from child's pose, and let's have a seat. And when you're sitting down, we're going to bring our footprints together, knees apart, butterflying our legs, externally rotating our hips and legs. Footprints the connection of your footprints together starts to generate a little more stretch across your inner groins and thighs. You could also scoot, kind of walk on your bottom forward, and that's going to deepen the angles in the legs. Honor your body on that. You don't have to do the closing the angle. You can leave it, open. Let your heels slide forward, heels slide back, bottom walk forward. You make these adjustments to find balance, to really be able to sink your base, your bottom floor down, define your hip hinge, and ease into forward bend or forward flexion. But as you're flexing forward, your spine is still extending. The pose we're practicing, bound angle, Baddha Konasana. So you could be flexed forward, still lengthening through the spine, or you could be sitting a little more tall vertically, somewhere in between. Honor your body, find the good space. Now, bring your knees together, right? Sit up, bring knees together. Give your legs a good hook. Sit up a little taller. Take a few deep breaths here. You can feel how your bones connected to lower leg bones. That connection makes you stronger and taller. It really brings you into the front of your body. Feel if there's any rounding in the spine. Root down a little deeper through your sit bones and your tailbone and sit up a little taller and use your arm hooking leg action to help you do that. So you can feel how you're kind of pulling yourself together here. That said, let's find our sit bone balance. Lift our heels, lower legs and arms are paralleling. And in boat pose, Navasana. Again, notice if the spine is rounding or slumping. Sit up a little taller. And breathe. One more deep breath. Lowering legs to the floor. Right leg externally rotating. So it's one of those butterfly wing legs. Left leg, shall we call it windmills behind us? Lengthening left leg down the mat, centering ourselves. So notice how I've come onto my handprints. So there's a sense of arm balance and a sense of balance in your hips and how they face the ground, directionally down, neutral hips. Root sinking, and we're practicing Pigeon Pose. And in Pigeon, the pose might call you to drop to your elbows. It might not. You might like handprints. Do what feels better in your body. What allows you to release some of your tension. That's what's most important. The ability to breathe deeply and to sustain steadiness over many deep breaths while we practice the pose, or at least we try. One more long, deep breath. And then we can peel ourselves up out of pigeon, right? Just tabletop, hands and knees pose. And left leg can move forward to create our external rotation, left leg, the butterfly wing. Right leg lengthening behind us. Arm balance. So it's hands and arms or elbows, forearms. How do you practice your pigeon most peacefully? One more long, deep breath in our pigeon pose. And then we'll shift onto our seat again. Right leg comes forward. So this time, right leg windmilling forward on top of the left leg. We're going to stack the knees. Balance on our outer foot edges, our pinky toe sides of the feet. Balanced and grounded in our sit bones that we referenced earlier, right? Those boat pose balancing spots are balancing again on the ground, rooting down, centering the spine, warming up a little taller up a vertical line, your imaginary vertical line. Now let's place our hands on the ground behind us. So your hands are heavy, your outer foot edges and your sit bones, your hips are heavy, but your heart's lifting, your face is lifting, and we're breathing deeply, right? 360-degree breathing. And now let's sit up tall. Let's find vertical on the way. And maybe you pause at vertical or you start to lean in. And as you lean forward, you're still tall, centered. And the pose will intensify as you lean in. Honor your body. Find the peaceful spot. One more deep breath. And we'll change. We'll sit up. If we folded forward, we sit up. Change sides. So right leg's the bottom and left leg takes the top of the stack. Rearranging your base, finding that sense of evenness. Outer foot edges, sit bones, spinal balance. Vertically tall. Hands on the ground behind us, expanding across chest. Finding a few deep breaths and really sinking your base down into the ground, but remaining buoyant in the heart. One more breath. And then we'll make our move towards vertical or maybe leaning in. Dial it back to the space. That felt good. Good stretches. I'm able to take deep breaths. One more deep breath. Now we're going to unwind the legs. Go wide for straddles. Sitting straddled legs. First, finding vertical, tall vertically. Establish your base, and then define your hip hinge to begin folding forward. And the stretches, the feeling, it comes pretty quickly the minute you start to lean in. So please honor your body. Find the good stretches. Continue to take those gorgeous deep breaths. One more deep breath. And we rise. Next pose. Please, I'm going to turn my back to you, but you'll be able to see me really well when I lay back down on the ground. So lie on the ground and we're going to bridge. So footprints deep and even. Shoulders roll back. So you're creating shoulder prints that are deep even. And from those two zones of the body, shoulders and footprints, we ground down to lift the middle upward. So lift your body up, right? Your trunk, your torso, your hips, your belly, lifting. There is even some lift happening in your ribs. Find your balance in your bridge pose. And when you're well balanced, the breath flows so much better. Is there any more planting of your shoulders and arm backs into the ground that you can do? Is there any more work? If you're at max capacity, it's all good. Keep breathing and balancing. Well done. Bring your bridge down to the ground. And then hug your knees to your chest. As you're lying on the ground, you're doing knees to chest pose. And then you're going to rock up to seated. Get in your boat pose. Navasana one more time, please. Now we did butterflied legs earlier. So while you're in your boat, can you butterfly for me? Bring your footprints together and you can use your hands to help you. Grab your ankles. You could grab your foot edges. You could grab your big toes. What can you grip most comfortably? And you're still balancing in that boat. Butterfly legs in the boat. And now we're going to add something else that we practiced already. Straddle, wide, big wide boat pose. Upavista Konasana. One more deep breath. And then we'll land our butterfly legs back on the ground, coming kind of full circle here. Maybe you fold forward if that feels good. We're practicing our bound angle pose. Be here for a few more breaths. Enjoy. Now, we did pigeons earlier where we were laying on the leg, on the externally rotated leg. We were body weight on. This time, turning my back to you again, you're going back to your bridge ready position, we'll call it, right? Knees bent, feet flat. Right leg, figure 4, crosses the left. Then our left heel lifts from the ground. This is our reclining pigeon pose. So you can hug your left hamstring back of the leg, managing to continue to keep that figure 4 shape happening with your right leg as it bears into your left thigh. Maybe you want to extend your left leg upward. Right, that might intensify your stretch a little. Honor your body. One more long, deep breath with this reclining pigeon. And then we shall dissolve it, right? Let it go and change sides. So right footprints on the ground as we figure 4, crossing left leg. Right heel lifts from the ground. And we'll hug our right hamstring, the back of the thigh. We meet reclining pigeon on this side. You could choose to keep your right leg bent, or you could straighten your right leg upward. Which variation feels better? One more deep breath. And we'll dissolve the pose. Right foot back to the ground. How about another bridge, friends? Shoulders back, footprints stand down. And we lift our middle up. Middle lifting. Body really filling 360 degrees of your belly, ribs, and chest with your full inhalations and your exhalations. Finish those off as well. Follow the exhale to the bottom of the breath. Let it be really complete. I promise it feels so much better when we complete truly each phase of the breath, each cycle. Bring your bridge back down to the ground. Let your bottom rest and your feet touch together, your knees gently fall apart. We're in another butterfly. We're reclining bound angle pose. Notice where you might be experiencing tension in the moment, in your hips, in your shoulders. Can you broaden those places, hips and shoulders and arms, maybe across the mat? And yes, you're broadening, but you're still continuing to lengthen the spine as well. To rest in this butterfly position is evenly usable. And apply our 360-degree deep breathing. Such an important part of the practice. All right, now we'll bring our knees together, closing the butterfly wings. Let's lift our heels up from the ground. So bent legs are in the sky. And we start to just create this rotating action, right to left, shifting. Being able to control that action is important. And we're going to continue to follow that rotation all the way to the left. Lay your legs on the left side of the mat, bent legs resting. I place my left hand on my outer right thigh, so gently. The left arm is resting. And right arm extends up the mat, up along the ground. Best you can, extended right arm upward. And you can feel the breath just moving down the right top side of the body. Smoothly. Your legs feel heavy, for sure, but your shoulders, your back body feels heavy as well. One more deep breath, and then we'll smoothly bring our right arm down to our side comfortably. Rotate back to center, our starting position. And then legs roll to the right. Rotate legs to the right. Lay them on the ground heavily. And then the left arm extends up the mat along the ground comfortably. Legs heavy. And your back body, back of the shoulders, heavy as well. Enjoy the completeness of your breath cycles. One more deep breath and we'll return to center. Let's hug both knees to chest, knee to chest pose. When you hugged your legs, did your tail peel up from the ground? Let your tailbone settle downward, your bottom, your back pocket settle down, but you can still hold your tucked legs. Right? There's a union of actions happening there. And now as you hold your tucked legs, let your shoulders relax. Your shoulder blades on your back feel broad and relaxed in the moment as you continue to hug and hold on to tucked legs and breathe deeply. Please hang on to your tucked in right leg, bent right leg. Extend your left leg and rest it on the ground. One knee to chest. Hug and hold and breathe deeply. Release, dissolve, right leg back to the ground, and we'll hug our left knee to chest now. Balance and breathe as you hold your tucked in leg. Release your leg back down to the ground. Find a deep breath. Just let your body rest in the moment. You're grounded. Your arms feel evenly heavy. Hopefully your legs do too. Now, widen your heels. So your heels, your legs are as wide as the corner edges of your mat, at least that wide. And then you let your arms expand outward as well. And your palms are turned up to the sky. And in this position, you're lying back. You're finally relaxed. At least that's where we're going. But your back body is clearly expanded across the ground. And your front body is skyward, expanding as well. And I use the word again, let your breath expand throughout all that gorgeous new space that you laid out in your body. Check in the moment with your head. Is your chin poking up towards the sky? Pull it in a little closer towards your neck, and that will lay you on the base of the skull at the back, bottom point of your skull, of your head. And that top point of the spine, the base of the skull, that's where the top of the neck meets the head, right? Your head consider your head part of the spine all the time. It's a good way to go. And your head is rested on base of skull. The spine is lengthened. And another plug-in point, the base of your bottom, your tail. That point is also plugged into the ground clearly. And I used the words restore and replenish. So the position that you've thoughtfully put yourself in, it's restoring your alignment, restoring your posture, restoring your sense of balance. And now from balance and that evenness, that equilibrium of body resting, tap into your 360-degree breathing again. The inhales that fill belly, ribs, and chest, and exhales that empty out completely. The breath work that you're doing, replenishing to your body and your mind as your breath deepens, you begin to downshift the central nervous system. Your inhalation, always an opportunity to oxygenate, to light up the murky spots in your body. And your exhale, a great opportunity to unwind, to dissolve some of your tension. I hope that you'll take the time to create more moments just like this one in your body and mind. And the harmonious link between the two, your body and your mind, is your breath. So continue to let those gorgeous waves of breath wash over you. And let your next deep breath be a purification, so to speak. And then start to wiggle your fingers and toes and shift through your hips and shoulders, reanimating your body and making the moves that bring you back up to the surface again. Thank you for making time this Wednesday evening to practice yoga with me by candlelight. Namaste, yogis. Sweet dreams.